the main event of the evening. A best-of-7 showdown to determine supremacy, legacy, and the right to be called champions of the North American region in this Elite Series. Dribbling out of the primary bracket, they came in cold, calculated, and absolutely dominant. A perfect record, just clean rotations and total control. They're not here for a comeback because they never left the top. Backed by precision, pressure, and pristine plays, they are the Void-born Titan of the series, Voidbound. And their opponents, knocked down, counted out, but never conquered. They clawed their way through elimination with ice in their veins. Match after match, opponent after opponent, victory after victory. They defied the odds, rewritten the bracket, and fought their way back to this moment. They are the unyielding forces of resurgence. F5 Penguins! One stands undominable, the other stands undeniable. Both stand on the edge of rematch history! Rematch Nation! Are you ready? Because it's time!
I would certainly hope so, yeah, and it is worth mentioning this is a best-of-7 that we're playing for the Grand Finals, and for Voidbound, since they were the team to come in through the upper bracket, they will get a game advantage. So they get Game 1 is essentially a victory for Voidbound. We'll be technically jumping into Game 2 of this best-of-7. F5, we talked about them in that last series, coming in off of a Game 5 loss. They come back, they play a fantastic series, find a Game 5 win of their own, and now they're up back here against Voidbound to try to take a little bit of revenge. So you got to imagine there might be some fatigue setting in, but there's definitely got to be some hype building here for F5.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would you rather after a longer day like we've had, or even a longer weekend of rematch, even when you look back to yesterday, would you rather be the team who is, while still tired, didn't have to cool down, or would you rather be the team that had that break? Because I feel like after kind of going at it for a while, sometimes that break almost works inversely and to your disadvantage more than your advantage, you know?
Yeah, oh no, absolutely, and we'll see how these two teams start. We'll see if Voidbound can get out to that quick start that they're certainly hoping for. Again, they do have a one-game advantage, so no need to really panic too much, but here we go. It's game number 1 on your screens now. Voidbound going to be playing in that black and pink. F5 Penguins will be in the white as we are underway. And Voidbound, again, with that 1-0 lead here in this best-of-7. It's a lot of work to be done here for the F5 Penguins, Q, but if there's any team that can turn around a series like this one, it would certainly, you'd imagine, have to be the Penguins, as that's a quick shot by Ty, taken care of by PaullyWallnuts, and he'll play out of his own box now.
Well, while I'm sure you didn't forget, in case any of our viewers who haven't maybe been keeping up with the numbers and everything in the background, we cannot overlook the fact that F5 Penguins were seen as our favorites going into this event here, and kind of their run through has definitely led you to believe and see why. So the fact that they had been sent down, not so much that they got sent down to the lower bracket, but was more how they got sent down in sweeping fashion that had me concerned. Thus far, when you talk about the first minute and 15 seconds, well, Voidbound has had a couple of looks towards F5's net. I think F5 has looked pretty decent in their own right. I would really like to see them find more presence in the middle of the field, though.
Yeah, that was a nice save from PaullyWallnuts early there on Cennix. Had to be Johnny on the spot to make the save, and it keeps the game level at 0, as here comes lppy. Opts for Cennix on the wing. He's going to try to play it out of the corner. Kylar shadowing in there, quickly into the box, though. It's Pitoh able to play it onwards as Cennix will play it back. Now Norman challenged there by Stahly, but he gets around. Quickly down, and there were two Voidbound players there. Neither one of them could get the header. The defense coming up big for F5 as now lppy down to Ty. Cennix again floating in the top of the box, and Voidbound don't really seem to have lost too much of a step here waiting for this series as they have dominated the early possessions of game number 2. Nomdoms able to take that away. PaullyWallnuts will pick it up, and now F5 can maybe try to get back on the attack.
And to find some way to start establishing some sort of presence down on that black half of the pitch, because they have been caught back in their defensive half for a while. Ball movement shot over to Pitoh, but Pitoh unfortunately will be denied even before it makes its way into the keeper half of the box. lppy doing a great job of shutting it down. Follow-up shot also will be grabbed there by DirtyTauro. Nice job by the Voidbound defense to step up.
DirtyTauro there kind of got left on his lonesome. Had to come up with a big save after Stahly won the ball in the corner, and now Stahly wins another challenge over lppy. We'll be back to PaullyWallnuts. Quickly moving forward. Here's Kylar looking for the blade. Takes it off the back wall, and lppy in a great position, able to cut that one down. And now here's Cennix on a bit of a run. Has a lot of space to work with. Blade shot himself. And PaullyWallnuts jumps up to make that play. Well done by both keepers on either end. And they've kept us level at 0 here in game 2. Nice play from Ty over to Cennix. Cennix, nice move. Quickly on, but PaullyWallnuts able to guard that near post well. Not going to be caught out of position that time. And Voidbound have had some good possessions here, but they just haven't been able to break through as of yet.
And a couple of looks. Definitely feels like longer possessions for the F5 Penguins, which I was about to say feels like they're on the verge of finding that first goal. And it was Pitoh, who we had seen deliver a couple of tough shots towards the net. This time around, drilling it to the lace, and it will be the F5 Penguins with the lead.
Great work to get open there out in front, as this is going to be Norman. Looking for Cennix and won't be able to connect with it. So F5 Penguins in a position to potentially level the series. Good cut of the pass though from Norman. He's got a lot of room to work. Back wall play, Ty, quick shot. But PaullyWallnuts again comes up big on the near post. Snatching that one away before we could have a level series, or rather a level game now, as Kylar. Quickly into the corner here, Stahly as Pitoh. Lurking around in the box. Stahly, quick shot, opts for the back wall. Norman plays it away, but it's right on to Kylar. Kylar over to Pitoh. Now not going to be able to find the pass back to Kylar, and Ty has a lot of time and space ahead of him. Looks for the blade. What a move from Ty, and we are tied at 1.
A header to the side to knock it down to the right foot. You find the off angle because the keeper has to be able to commit to try and shut down that lane, and instead leaves the back end wide open for an easy shot, tying things up with just a little bit over a minute left. And that's exactly what you're looking for Voidbound, able to find a way to buy just a little bit more time, but Stahly has other things in mind. A quick return to the other side of the pitch, and the F5 Penguins retake the lead.
Well, I was just about to say F5 maybe the wind out of the sails a little bit there, but they get one back immediately. A perfect response from F5 Penguins. And now they've given themselves a 1-goal lead here in game number 2. With only 50 seconds left to go, it's going to be Cennix, though, running down the wing. Nomdoms is there trying to shadow him. Good keep, though, from Cennix, and he's back to lppy now. lppy scanning the defense, looking for any kind of area that they can exploit on this F5 half. Norman opts to play it back to DirtyTauro. Now down, looking for a tie. Kylar keeps the header away. And that's actually a bit of an air pass. Both players don't go for it, so it's going to be Cennix who picks up the ball in the corner, but the pass gets cut there by Pitoh. And again, Cennix have to do some work in the corner. He gets some help from Norman. Both players come out of the corner with the ball. And ultimately, it's going to be Ippy to play it back over to Ty. That was dangerous from Voidbound. I thought maybe that might have been the mistake that ends the game, but they do get one more opportunity. Here's Ippy on the wing. Good play from Stahly. And F5 Penguins survive game 2 and equalize the series at 1.
They did exactly what you look to do as the team coming in from the lower bracket. You take away that upper bracket advantage, essentially turning this best of 7 into a best of 5, and it looked pretty darn good while doing it too. Kind of a slow cooker. It wasn't really about turning up the pace too much. It was just about kind of picking and choosing their moments and eventually being able to find their opportunities and capitalizing and walking away with a dub.
Really fantastic stuff from F5. And again, we mentioned after that goal goes in from Voidbound that maybe, you know, it's a little bit of some wind out of the sails of F5 Penguins, but you know, they come right back. They get that strike immediately back off of the ensuing kickoff. And that's what you want to see. That's the resilience of this team that you want to see. And now we talked about the sweep that led F5 into the lower bracket. It has not occurred this time around. We will not have a sweep in the grand finals. We are all tied up at 1 here in this best of 7. So essentially here, Q, if you really want to think about it, we are starting a fresh best of 5 here in the grand finals.
Let's get down to it and see which of these two teams is able to give themselves the first lead in game number 3. And it's Ty for Voidbound, who says, you know what, put ourselves into the driver's seat. You can hold that one right there.
Yeah, I mean, Ty has had a couple of great goals already in this series, and certainly some fantastic goals all tournament long. And he connects with one there to put his team up by a goal 30 seconds into game 3. This is Stahly creating a bit of space for himself. Kylar has a lot of room to work with. Blade shot on! Back of the net found, and it's 1-1.
Should have been able to secure that one. We'll have to watch it back one more time to see exactly how things broke down. Kylar just says, if you're going to sit back, I'm going to make you pay. Not quite on target. Were the hands from the keeper, and just like that, we'll be tied up at 1. We thought that maybe Voidbound was bouncing back in a big way. F5 Penguins say no way.
Now, you've got to wonder, Voidbound, maybe they weren't watching that last series. We saw Kylar with a very similar play in that lower bracket final where he was just given a lot of space. He takes a blade shot, finds the back of the net, and Voidbound unable to defend against the Kylar blade in similar fashion. And here we are, tied at 1 with 4:45 to go. Good play from Ippy. Let's play back to DirtyTauro. As that Cennix has Ty beautifully in the box. What a block from Stahly. Just able to get back in time. Finds that dive to keep Ty off the board yet again. Kylar now. Feed back over to Stahly from defense to offense. Here comes Stahly. Blade shot on. That's an easy one for DirtyTauro. Reads it well. Snatches away that bottom post. Here's Ty with some room to work. Back wall. Cennix was there. But the defense from Kylar in the rebound nearly beats PaullyWallnuts, but he makes the save on the goal line. And we're going to stay 1-1 with 4 minutes to go.
I've been trying to figure out which of the two nicknames in chat I've been enjoying the most. Paul Wall seems too easy. I do think Pauly the Wally has to definitely be my favorite. Earning the name here today for sure, and it's going to be nomdoms who earns the lead for the F5 Penguins with a nice double header here down deep inside the Voidbound territory.
Oh, such a great read from nomdoms. Baits out the dive from the keeper and puts F5 back in the driver's seat in game number 3. Let's see if Voidbound can find one. That was on to the head of Kylar, right back to Ippy. Here's Ty. Over to Norman. Norman with some room. Right onto the boot of Ty, but PaullyWallnuts stands tall. Takes away that near post yet again. He's been very good on those shots at the near post. Here's Kylar with some more space. Are they going to give it to him again? He tries to find a pass across, but that time Norman steps up into him, and here's a feed. Cennix is free, blade shot back wall, but he doesn't get the rebound. It bounces over him. Had PaullyWallnuts beat, but he couldn't find the back of the goal.
Couldn't quite recover in time, and Ty, unfortunately, just a step or two behind. Also would have had a free look at it if they were just a little bit closer and engaged in that play. Now F5 Penguins looking to try and find themselves another look towards the net, kept inside the zone for now. Stahly, you reach, I teach, he says to Norman. Looks for a relatively light shot. Makes that really easy to save for DirtyTauro.
Yeah, that was a good read of the play there by the keeper for Voidbound. As Cennix wanted the feed in the corner, but he couldn't beat the defender. So it's into the hands of Pauly the Wally for F5. It's been a wall so far in this series. They'll have to try to keep this 1-goal lead. Here's Pitoh. Over to Stahly, option actually defers to nomdoms, who gets beat on the play. Cennix has a lot of room to run. He's running out of stamina though. Takes a quick shot off the back wall. Ty wasn't ready for it. And it'll be deflected into the corner there by Stahly. Back over to PaullyWallnuts, and they've loved this back wall play, have Voidbound. It just hasn't quite worked out for them.
Tough spot to be in if you're Ty, right? Because you want to run with your teammate and be in a nice cross spot, but sometimes when that shot rings too hard off of that backboard, it ends up being more of a detriment. That just ends up being one of those cases there. The good news for Voidbound is they do still have another 90 seconds for themselves to be able to find a way to tie up this series. Otherwise, they do risk falling behind by a series count of 2-1. They're finding some good looks here, but they've got to find a way past the goal line.
That we most certainly do. As let's see what Kylar has. Looking for Cennix. Or getting through Cennix, I should say. As here's nomdoms, nice feed onto Stahly. Norman rejects that one. lppy all the way back down. Here's Cennix with a little bit of space. nomdoms, a great sliding tackle. Ty beats the keeper to the ball. Plays it into the corner to try to play a little bit of possession. Has the possession away from nomdoms and will feed it back over to lppy, who plays it back to Norman. 35 seconds left. Voidbound with maybe another opportunity. There's a feed to Ty. It's rejected by the defense. Good move from Norman. Stahly, though, quickly across the pitch, able to take that one away. Chips it across to his teammate in nomdoms. And nomdoms has some space to walk through. 15 seconds to go. Good read. Oh, no. Norman gave it away, though. And now Stahly over to nomdoms. Time is going to tick by. No more time left for Voidbound, but the giveaway over to Norman. They're going to have one final opportunity. Need to make sure they keep possession. It is going to be over to lppy. And here we are. Final attack. Voidbound, one more chance to try to tie us up here in game number 3. It's going to be DirtyTauro with the possession at the top. Down to Cennix, score!
What?
It's 2-2 in game 3.
In what world does this pass find its way past all of the defenders? Now, I was about to say I don't like the idea of the long entry pass, but the proof's in the pudding, I suppose. We're all tied up at 2 when we go to overtime here in game number 3. Voidbound have a little bit of an extra life here.
A beautiful extra life for Voidbound, tying things up with no time remaining, but now it's going to be Stahly looking for Pitoh. Fires. Great save from DirtyTauro. Needs to be careful. He finds his man, though, in Ty. Quickly across. Cennix has Ty streaking. Back wall play. Read well by Kylar. But lppy with possession. Good play from nomdoms, though, to steal that one away, as PaullyWallnuts had to get rid of that ball quickly. And now Kylar with a little bit of room to work with here in overtime. Game number 3. The winner of this one will be given that 1-game advantage. And there's nomdoms. Just missed it wide. Had the bottom corner labeled, but he couldn't quite pick it, as now it's going to be Stahly. Nice couple of moves. Makes it be back off. Header pass. nomdoms scores, and F5 Penguins a minute into overtime survive the Voidbound comeback, and they'll take game 3.
The heart breaker, a slower play here that develops. Unfortunately, the dive forward just a little too far forward, leaves the net wide open, and when the biscuit's in front of the basket, it's going to be good eats each and every time. Game number 2 was about the F5 Penguins being able to take away that upper bracket advantage. Now they have been able to successfully put themselves halfway to being able to call themselves champion, and they've been looking pretty darn good out there on the pitch.
And this is one of the things that we haven't really talked about too much coming into this series, but for Voidbound, this is really their first chance on this big of a stage. They haven't made a grand final in Rematch yet. This is their first grand final that they have made, Q, and it couldn't be a bigger one, right? You're playing for a $1,000 prize pool. You're playing in front of a ton of different viewers and a lot of pressure on. They've had a fantastic tournament, but how are they going to respond now as we head into game number 4? Voidbound dropping the last 2 straight. They find themselves now down in the series, but it is a best of 7 for anybody just joining us, so we have at least 2 more games of Rematch to go. I'm sure Voidbound would love to extend it to 6 if possible. As here's Ty, has Cennix on a run with him, uses the back wall, but again it's Kylar, who has been very good defensively all tournament long for F5. You got to wonder, maybe Voidbound need to mix it up if Kylar's going to be playing defense as well as he has been.
Definitely might want to be able to consider that one for sure. First attacking opportunity here for the F5 Penguins, and Stahly almost able to bang that thing home off of that pass from the back wall. Pitoh will be able to secure it, looks for nomdoms, one touch, sets up a potential shot opportunity, denies himself that opportunity. That looked not enough, and nomdoms says, you know what, I'm going to take this one, and the F5 Penguins take the lead.
And yeah, this is, again, just some fantastic play by F5, working the ball around. A lovely pass from Stahly, finds nomdoms, and the keeper, DirtyTauro, just couldn't quite reach out fast enough. And that makes it a 1-0 lead now for F5 Penguins. And for Voidbound, you just got to wonder, is the moment too big? Is the pressure too much? As again, they swept this team when they met last time. They swept F5 Penguins 3-0 in the upper bracket earlier on. As Cennix looking for Ty, but the rally by the defense, and it was Stahly ultimately who takes that away. And it just doesn't look like Voidbound have that confidence that they had earlier on in the tournament here, Q.
I think it's almost like the culmination of a perfect storm, right? You had mentioned first time that we've seen Voidbound in a grand finals as far as for a rematch event, and then you walk into that grand finals and you almost have like that false sense of security. Oh, we beat these guys in a sweep last time. Then they come out and punch in the mouth, not only take game number 2, but now they've taken game number 3 and they've scored quickly in game number 4 as well. All of a sudden you start questioning everything you know about Rematch, every sort of part of your game plan that you came in with, and they've got to find some way to regain, because as you can see, relentless towards the net. Here were the F5 Penguins. They looked to double down their lead, not going to be successful that trip down.
Well, here's Cennix with a chance, blade shot, score. 1-1, game 4, 3:38, and it's Cennix who finds some space behind the F5 defense and makes it count.
Making it count indeed. Sometimes it's just about finding that one opportunity. The defender sprinting towards back post instead of trying to cut over towards where the ball was at. Can't help but wonder if maybe an extra body in the vicinity might have caused just enough of a nuisance. It will be now Voidbound over the kickoff. Let's try to seize the control. Ty can't quite do that, as it will be sent back to PaullyWallnuts. And now they're going to look to try to start up the offense from deep in their territory.
PaullyWallnuts, I love it. He's going to have to turn himself into a Wally here as Cennix. Oh, he almost found that bottom corner. It was a beautiful feed into the box. As now Kylar looks to clear the zone. Good read of the play there from Norman, though. Moving down from the defensive position. Cennix over to lppy. Has some space. Blade shot. Chance off the back wall. Goes off the top of the crossbar, all the way into the air. lppy going to fight for it in the corner, but ultimately it's the combo of Pitoh and Kylar able to play it away. as now Kylar with a lot of room. Trying to find Stahly with it, ultimately a bit too far, but a good sliding tackle there from nomdoms gives Stahly back possession. Cennix again, so very good on that possession. He's going to run down the wing. He has Ty with him, chips it out, takes a shot off the defender. Rebound is there, but Cennix couldn't control it. And we're going to stay 1-1 with 2:15 to go.
See, they tried tapping that L2 or that left trigger if you're kind of running your standard controls to try and turn into the stance to get the control of it. Just couldn't quite gather it in time. Now it will be Voidbound. Quick pass up the field here for Ty. You've got some space. Hold on. Past one. But Paul on the wall stands tall.
And it's interesting how much space Voidbound has been given behind the enemy lines. As nomdoms just going to blade it across to Stahly, and that's a big save from DirtyTauro. That's a tricky shot to read. As Stahly got that one off quick, but he makes the save. Keeps Voidbound in this game. Played over to Ty. It's rejected there. I don't know if it went off a defender or the keeper. Either way, it doesn't wind up in the net. Norman, nice little move, but he gets stopped in his tracks. Stahly still able to get the ball through, though. Cennix plays it back towards lppy. Blade shot potential. No, it's nomdoms. And now Cennix, one-on-one with Pitoh. Nice slide around. It's going to be Stahly with the slide tackle, though. And we are going to continue on. Game number 4, a minute left to go. Still equalized at 1.
Starting to get really worried for Voidbound here. I'm not going to lie to you, Hunted. You know, desperate for a win here. If this goes to extra time and they end up dropping this thing and allowing F5 Penguins put themselves onto championship points, that would be quite a mountain to climb after coming in with a bit of a lead. Possession shot opportunity, and there it is. Voidbound able to find a lead to their name with just 35 seconds left to play.
And look at this couple of nice moves from Ty. Baits out Kylar just a little bit, and it's a wonderful pass to Cennix. And that puts Voidbound in a position to equalize the series here in game number 4. And give us, I think, all what we'd love to see. More rematch between these two squads. As nomdoms now has some room down the wing, looking for the equalizer. Tries to bait out Ty. Ty, what a wonderful read defensively. He's going to bomb it all the way down. PaullyWallnuts has to scramble back, but he does get up to make the play. And we're going to have one final attack here for F5. We saw Voidbound convert on this in the last game. They weren't able to win it in overtime, but I'm sure F5 would love an opportunity to play in OT here. Nice pass over to Pitoh. nomdoms there, fires, save made on the goal line, and it's going to be Voidbound who take a game 4. We're headed to game 5, all tied up at 2.
It's now a best of 3 as we've gone back and forth a little bit here. And a very important game for Voidbound. I had talked about it going into that overtime. I feared that if they dropped that, it could have just kind of been the beginning of the end. Instead, it's almost like a new beginning, a breath of fresh air, a fresh little life over on that half of the pitch. Definitely wasn't easy, but hey, you know what? They got the job done there, Hunted.
No, it's been a tough series for both teams. I mean, it's been back and forth, but now Voidbound, now that they found their first real win of the series, right? They were given that first game for being the upper bracket team, but now that they've actually won a game in this series, you've got to imagine that they're going to start to build a little bit of that confidence heading into game number 3. And folks, I really hope you've been enjoying this coverage. I hope you've been enjoying these two teams battling it out. I know I certainly have, and I just want to let you know that next weekend we will have the top 16 NA teams competing in a 3-day event, and you can catch the top 8 playoffs right here on our Twitch channel as we are partnering with the Aura Farm tournament. You can check out their Twitches as well, Aura Farm and Godspeed Esports. That's going to be starting next Friday, July 18th through Sunday, July 20th at 7 p.m. CST, 8 p.m. Eastern. But until then, Q, we still have a lot of rematch left to play here in this one. As a couple of opportunities back and forth between these two teams. Nobody able to get on the board yet. Well, this is a contentious game, number 5, as nomdoms. Oh, he had Stahly on a run, but just overshot him a bit there.
Interesting. It almost feels like the pace has been picked up just a little bit instead of those lower, slow approaches in the half-field game. Both teams have been able to really pick up just the tempo at least a little bit here. More opportunities looking towards the net, but as you had mentioned, nobody quite yet being able to find the net. It will be nomdoms who's looking for a clear up the way here to Kylar, who's going to bring it up into that Voidbound territory. It's a deep pass into the corner. Pitoh cross the box to Stahly, but the defense not overextending. Norman, who's been doing such a phenomenal job in that sweeper role all night long, here for Voidbound, really helping out the goalkeeper. But even with all of that being said, the Penguins find a goal and they're up early.
And again, it's just the F5 Penguins doing everything they can to break apart this defense, and it works out perfectly for them that time. They pull the defense apart and get the header to find the back of the goal. So it's F5 Penguins who find the first of the game. And now Voidbound need to find a way to respond. Norman tries to send lppy on a bit of a run. Pitoh gets that one challenged away from him. PaullyWallnuts to the rescue, however. And now F5 going to try to slow play this out of their own zone. Kylar had to be careful there. Ty was all over him. But does make a nice couple of moves, and he's got some space to run. Nice pass to Pitoh. Good block there from lppy. Kylar, though, back on it. Over to Stahly. Norman with an aggressive challenge. But F5 keep possession. Blade shot potential, blocked away by the defense. And VB will turn the offense around. Good cut of the pass, though. And now Stahly one-on-one with the keeper and tries to make a move over the top score. What a patient play from Stahly. Finds the chip over the keeper, and it's 2-0.
Brings the ball down, finds the control, realizes that DirtyTauro just a little too far out, hits him with the raindrop, drop top. Oh, I don't know. Something about the flip-flop. It's going to be F5 Penguins up by 2 as we approach that midway point.
And now Voidbound in a bit of a hole here, having to find 2 with 3:15 left to go. As you can see, Cennix challenging PaullyWallnuts quickly, not wanting to give him time to kill some more clock, as that's going to be lppy on a nice challenge. Here comes Cennix streaking down the wing. Ty across the way. Wonderful diving block, though, by Pitoh. And F5 will regain possession, look for a third in this game, give them as much cushion as possible here in game number 5. Stahly patiently out of the corner, waits for the challenge from Ty. He'll chip it back over to Kylar, back to Stahly, into the box. Pitoh's there, pass across, nomdoms play across again. And it was almost the perfect play, but it was just out of the reach of Stahly, and Voidbound back the other way. Cennix with some room, looking for the shot. It's wide. Ty almost got there to put it home, but it just escapes his reach, and Voidbound back to the drawing board.
Last look on either side of the pitch looked like it very well could have resulted in a goal. Instead, it's still brought to a 2-0 game as we enter into our final 2 minutes of game number 5. But it's a pass to the middle, and Cennix is able to drill it home, successfully taking this lead and cutting it in half.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Again, this play works for them. With the defense getting a bit spread out, they can't rally to the ball like they like to do. And Cennix finds the perfect angle to drop that one in. And he even gets a block on the ensuing kickoff as well. Ty's got a lot of space. He's going to play it up to Cennix. Can he tie the game up right here? No, it's PaullyWallnuts aggressive. Able to knock that one away. And now nomdoms with some space, 1:30. Left to go. Stahly. Oh, that was a beautiful setup, but DirtyTauro comes up big. He's going to send Ty on his way again. One-on-one with PaullyWallnuts, and PaullyWallnuts again plays the aggressive keeper position, and he's able to snatch that one out of harm's way. Back and forth we continue to go. Again, another chance for Ty. Looking to beat out Pauly this time. Gets the flick around. Shot fired off the defense. It's going to be Cennix, but he can't keep control. And Stahly smartly and calmly back to PaullyWallnuts. Only a minute left to go. Voidbound still need one.
Pauly's been doing a phenomenal job of being able to decide when they need to push out aggressively to dive for that ball and when they can rely on their teammates. Meanwhile, F5, every trip down to the other side of the field, dwindles time off of the clock, but there is still 40 seconds left. Voidbound only down by 1 here. lppy's going to look to try and set up some offense, has some time to pass all the way across the box. It'll be settled with the defender right there looking for Ty deep inside the territory, but that pass just a little wide.
Now we're into the final 20 seconds. You can see Voidbound trying to rally to the ball, not wanting to let F5 Penguins burn off too much clock, but I think F5 might be able to just secure it here. Nice pass across to nomdoms. They're going to play it back, trying to keep possession, and that's going to be over to Stahly, and that's going to be the end of the game. So Voidbound comes so very close. A couple of key opportunities. They get one back, but it wasn't enough. Claw their way back to overtime here in Game 5. So it is F5 on championship point now. And with a Game 6 looming, Voidbound, this is their final chance.
Hear me out. Is there a chance that F5 Penguins hit like the big brain plays and we're like, you know what? We haven't been on the mainstream like at all event long. So they go down to the lower bracket to get more time, more shine, hashtag for the content maybe even. And now all of a sudden they've been able to earn their trip back up into the grand finals, and they've looked darn good over the course of the last couple of games. One game away from being able to call themselves champion, and if they're able to keep up at the pace they've been playing, it just feels like it's more a matter of when than if here, Hunted.
Yeah, and again, this is a rematch between these two teams. And Voidbound was the victor of the first meeting between them. A 3-0 win for them, and they just haven't been able to find that same magic they were able to pull in that series right now. But their lives are quite literally on the line here in game number 6. As there are no more redos, there are no more rematches after this one. Ty, quick shot, but it's PaullyWallnuts to make the save. And it's down to the final life now for Voidbound. They have to win this game to force a Game 7. And for F5 Penguins, a chance to crown yourselves King of North America. A good block there from Norman, and I have a feeling here, Q, VB is not going to go down without a solid fight, as Ty was looking for a little bit of space. And you know, Ty has been given a lot of space by the F5 defense, and it's come back to haunt them every now and then, but PaullyWallnuts has bailed them out more than a few times.
Definitely has been doing a great job back there. Iceman, he has been time and time again. Nomdoms looks for a pass across, can't quite find it. Pitoh was still able to fend the ball back into the box. It's F5 Penguins who continues to be aggressive towards the net. Yeah, they haven't been able to find a goal just quite yet, but this sort of relentless play is what's led them to the lead that they have right now in this series.
Still no score here in Game 6, however. This is lppy with a nice move around Stahly. Has a little bit of space in that corner. Back wall into the box. Nomdoms able to play that one away. And Stahly with a lot of room to run. Cennix going to try to track him down. Stahly turns on the Jets at the right time. Flick into the box. Nomdoms can't quite get the foot on it. And instead it's going to be Cennix with possession now. Game number 6 here in this grand final. A chance for F5 Penguins to prove they are the best team in North America. And it's going to be Stahly now looking for Pitoh, fires, and good save from DirtyTauro. That's a tough one to read with the defense in the way. And he plays it on down to Cennix quite quickly, looking for the counterattack. Played shot, almost sneaks that in, but PaullyWallnuts gets hands on it right before it crosses the line.
Oh, you can feel the tension through the screen here in game number 6. We've seen big attempts on either side of the pitch. Stahly will be able to fire a shot. That one sinks to the back of the lace. F5 Penguins take the lead.
Yeah, fantastic again from F5, and now that could be the tournament-winning goal, and you just kind of have to wonder, maybe a bit of a misinput there from the keeper in DirtyTauro. Maybe the nerves getting to the VB defense, but there's no time to think about that. They have to find an equalizing goal, and they've got half a game of rematch to do it. That's the F5 Penguins. Early lead in this one. Nice play from Stahly. Down over, but it's just a bit too far for Pitoh. DirtyTauro over to lppy. lppy will play it back. And things start to slow down a little bit more now. Norman's on a bit of a run there in the wing, and he will find the ball. Takes a quick shot. That was going to go wide, I believe, but PaullyWallnuts able to read it well. Takes that one away. And the F5 Penguins, again, 2 minutes, 20 seconds away from being crowned champions here in North America.
You've done the hard part. You've been able to give yourself the lead. Now all you got to do is simply hold the line. And I think the one thing I'm really enjoying seeing from this F5 Penguins is their continued aggression towards the net. Sometimes when you'll see a team, especially when they're on championship point, they take a lead and it's almost like they start playing not to lose instead of continuing to play to win. They continue to try and add to their tally, realizing that one more goal could very well be the nail in the coffin. Quick pick of the pocket. Ty has possession deep inside the box. Shot will be denied by Kylar, who sends that ball over towards the corner. Can't quite find the clear, however. It's into the foot of Norman, who will lose that possession.
Now Kylar, good move around Ty, gets it back to PaullyWallnuts. Time is ticking here on Voidbound. They've only got a minute and a half left. Need to make sure they don't give up another goal. Good play from Norman, but F5 stick with it. As now Stahly gets around Norman. Norman, however, able to take that one away, but it is right back for F5 to control. 70 seconds left now. Kylar going to continue to burn time. He's got 2 players rallying to him. Play across. Norman, good header. Stahly's still there, and he keeps possession in the corner. So F5 continue to waste time on this clock. Norman can't find the challenge. It'll be out towards Kylar. He's got a lot of players swarming him, and that pass is going to be a bit awry. And now finally Voidbound can pick up the possession, and they've got 40 seconds left on the clock to find a goal. They were able to do it in an earlier game in the series. Ty scores! What a shot from Ty! A laser beam to the corner, and we're tied at 1.
Oh my goodness. You know, I had seen chat was asking for a game number 7. I'll be honest, I wasn't a believer. Ty made one out of me there, however. Being able to just draw on back, sinks it with the ice in the veins. The question now becomes, when does this decider find its way into the back of either net? Because we could very well be off to yet another overtime in this matchup.
I cannot believe that Voidbound has done it again. And this time it couldn't have been at a bigger moment. Stahly to nomdoms. They want to end it right here, right now. And if they could score the next goal, they'll do so. But here we go, overtime. Game number 6. A chance for F5 Penguins to score the goal to secure their victory. A chance for Voidbound to send us to a game 7. Kylar with some room. Chip play, body blocked there by Ty, played away by lppy, but they can't quite control it. However, Cennix giving Pitoh a little bit of a challenge down there in the corner. Instead, it's going to be Kylar. Pitoh over to Stahly. Stahly, flick on. Good header from Norman. And we're back into the F5 zone, but it comes quickly back into the danger area there for VB. And now Ty out of stamina. He's not going to be able to get to that ball. And nomdoms plays it back to PaullyWallnuts. So a minute gone in overtime. Game number 6. F5 Penguins have had the dominant possession here in OT, but all it takes is one play from either side to end this game. Nomdoms looking for the pass. It'll be shut down in front.
It's sent back to the midfield line, however, where Kylar's able to secure it. Sends it into nomdoms. Rings off of the post. Sent off of the backboard, but it will be DirtyTauro who rises up and secures the ball. Was looking for Ty around the midfield line, but instead it's Kylar who will be able to pick that thing up, and it means F5 Penguins get to, well, lather, rinse, and repeat and take another crack at it. You'll see it will be one more time PaullyWallnuts who will move their way up inside this Voidbound territory.
Stahly!
And just like that, the F5 Penguins bang things home and will be crowned champions.
And it's Stahly to do it for them as well. Look at the play from Stahly. He finds just enough of a soft spot behind the defense, and it's F5 who win the game, win the series, and ultimately win the crown of Kings of North America in this Elite Series. It's been a long, long weekend for them. They dropped down to the lower bracket against this Voidbound team in that winner's final. It was a 3-0 score in favor of Voidbound, but F5 Penguins vowed for revenge. They played through that lower bracket final, take down Azure FC in a close Game 5, and they come marching back to the grand finals to upset Voidbound and take a best-of-7 in 6 games. What a fantastic story for F5 Penguins.
A big story for F5 Penguins, the chance of redemption. You're able to win the whole darn thing. And I think the big thing for me that we actually saw what kind of set up the whole game-winning play. Remember, earlier on today, we had seen a couple of times where Pauly came out a little too far. A mistake was made, and they got punished. They didn't start to overthink things, though. Right? They just continued to play their game, and they, as the goalkeeper, were able to find the game-winning assist. I mean, there's just such a great story in that play. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, it was there's a lot of great stories that happened this weekend, and you know, F5's is going to be the one that's talked about the most, right? Being the winners, but I mean, for the team that they ultimately end up taking down in the finals, you got to give Voidbound huge props just for getting to this point, right? For getting into the grand finals, for walking through the winners semi and the winners final untouched. They went 6-0 in those 2 best-of-5s. You know, ultimately they just run out of steam. Maybe the pressure gets to them a little bit, but F5 Penguins, I mentioned it when they went down to Azure FC. Remember, Q, they got mercy ruled 4-0 in Game 3 against Azure FC. And we think, well, this has to be it for Penguins, right? I said this is where they can etch their name into history. This is where they can prove that they are a team to be feared and to be reckoned with, and that's exactly what they've proven in this tournament.
I mean, they came in as the favorites, and there was a reason for that. This roster has plenty of experience, plenty of firepower, and they just keep swinging. Even when they're down, they're never out. There's one thing that I saw even at times where there were different points throughout the course of the night where F5 was caught back in their defensive side, and it never starts to look panicked. They're always in control, and for them to be able to add another win to their tally allows them to potentially start the building of a legacy here in the early days of Rematch.
I am so very glad that we were able to bring you this this tournament here on our broadcast. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Make sure you're following the channel if you have not done so already. We're going to be streaming a whole heck of a lot more of Rematch in the near future. In fact, Q, I mean, we've got a whole ton of people to thank. Now that we're at the end of both of the Elite Series, it's been a wonderful 4 weeks or so of Rematch. And it couldn't be possible without the hard work of Audible and Blue Blazing. Those 2 guys have put in an incredible amount of work. Of course, our sponsor in Grid, the prize pools and everything like that would certainly not have been possible without them. And everybody behind the scenes, Pandy has done a fantastic job observing for us all weekend long. And, of course, the whole TVO crew, Teriyaki pushing the buttons for us today, producing. But I mean, we have a whole Discord server full of people who are willing and able to volunteer and put a lot of time and energy into making these things work. There's been a whole B stream all weekend long. Those guys have done a fantastic job, and it's really great to see so many people coming out for Rematch.
It takes a village when you talk about a new game that comes to the scene. There's definitely plenty of passion within the community. So make sure you guys are getting involved. The mention of the Discord was mentioned earlier. Make sure you're jumping up in there, even if it's just simply spreading the word, getting more people in, getting more eyes on the product. We had a whole bunch of people showing up and showing out. So like Hunted said before, if you haven't already done so, definitely make sure you're hitting that follow button down below, because this is only the beginning, and it feels like each and every week, not only do we see improvements not only within the stream and like all of that, but the players are getting better and better. It's only up from here.
Absolutely. And folks, we are going to call it an evening now. It's been a long day of Rematch, long broadcast production for us. Head over to rematchesports.com if you'd like to participate in these events in the future, or if you just want to come say hi and hang out. Let us know what you thought of the tournament. Let us know what you thought of the broadcast and the production as well. It has been so much fun, as always, to bring this to you. But we are going to jump out. Make sure you are back here for even more Rematch next week. And again, follow the channel. But until then, guys, stay safe. Enjoy your ranked games. We'll be back in just a few days' time for more Rematch action.